The operation of a power system is a balancing act, because the amount of electricity generated and the amount consumed must be equal at any given moment. This requires careful planning and continuous monitoring of the system. Since it is impossible to perfectly forecast electricity consumption and generation, it remains Fingrid's task as the transmission system operator to ensure a constant balance between consumption and generation. The balance between consumption and generation can be seen in the system frequency, which normally is allowed to fluctuate between 49.9 and 50.1 Hz. For example, in the evening when lights are switched on, electricity consumption increases. This can be observed as a decrease in frequency unless power generation is simultaneously increased. Major frequency deviations can damage power plants and electrical equipment, and in the worst-case scenario, result in a major power outage. Fingrid maintains the frequency by procuring various reserve products and by activating bids from the balancing energy markets. The balancing energy market is the Nordic marketplace for adjustable power generation and consumption. The reserves consist of power plants and loads, which can increase or decrease the electricity transmitted to or from the grid. Some of the reserves are activated automatically and some on Fingrid's request. Fingrid procures these reserves on the marketplaces it organizes. The frequency containment reserve for normal operation and the automatic frequency restoration reserve are used for the continuous management of minor shifts in the system balance. The frequency containment reserve for normal operation autonomously adjusts its power as the frequency changes, while the automatic frequency restoration reserve aims to restore the frequency to 50 Hz in response to a power activation signal sent by Fingrid. But what happens if a major power plant disconnects from the system and the frequency rapidly drops? Such an event activates the frequency containment reserve for disturbances in power plants and loads. This reserve is activated within a few seconds and prevents excessive frequency drops. The frequency containment reserve for disturbances is restored for the next possible disturbance by activating bids from the balancing energy market. To secure sufficient balancing resources in case of a major disturbance, Fingrid owns and leases reserve power plants and organizes the balancing capacity market. With the help of reserves and balancing markets, Fingrid powers Finland now and in future.